Why aren't more people talking about how raw and real 2 Corinthians is? If you've ever felt misunderstood or weak, you need to hear this. As Paul writes in 2 Corinthians 1:4, God comforts us in all our troubles, so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from God. Let's dive in. So, what's the story? The book of 2 Corinthians is a letter written by the Apostle Paul to the church in Corinth. In 2 Corinthians 1:1, Paul greets them as the Church of God in Corinth, together with all his holy people throughout Achaia. Paul was facing serious problems. People doubted his authority, accused him of being fake, and the church was dealing with drama and confusion. He says in 2 Corinthians 2:4, "For I wrote you out of great distress and anguish of heart and with many tears, not to grieve you but to let you know the depth of my love for you." But instead of getting angry, Paul gets real. He talks about his own struggles and weaknesses, showing that God's power shines brightest when we feel weak. As he says in 2 Corinthians 4:7, "But we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us." The main message? God's strength is made perfect in our weakness. Paul writes in 2 Corinthians 12:9, "But he said to me, 'My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness.'" That's why 2 Corinthians 12:9 is so famous. "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Paul continues, "Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me." Paul wrote this letter to encourage the believers, clear up misunderstandings, and remind them to forgive, love, and stick together. In 2 Corinthians 2:7-8 he urges, "Now instead, you ought to forgive and comfort him. I urge you therefore to reaffirm your love for him." Chapters 2 and 3 talk about forgiveness and how God gives us new life, not through strict rules but through the Spirit. As 2 Corinthians 3:6 says, "He has made us competent as ministers of a new covenant, not of the letter but of the Spirit, for the letter kills, but the Spirit gives life." Whether you're struggling or feeling strong, 2 Corinthians teaches us to be honest, rely on God, and love each other. As Paul reminds us in 2 Corinthians 13:11, "Aim for perfection, listen to my appeal, be of one mind, live in peace, and the God of love and peace will be with you." That's a powerful message for all of us.